Hello friends, welcome or welcome back. I'm insanely proud of myself. I made cherry Coke from scratch. Took some Coke and took some cherry pop. I don't know, like a splish splash of the cherry pop and we have prepared our drink. We have consumed our cannabis. We have put on the stupid cat ears that I saw beside me just now, and I was like, it's a YouTube video. I'm not leaving the house. Like, nobody's ever gonna see me like this. So I'm gonna put on the funny cat ears that I got at Jill's Bachelorette. I have some explaining to do. Yeah, grab yourself a hot or cold beverage and get comfortable. And I'm going to explain to you why I am exiting a long-term relationship to go live in the woods for a little while. It sounds really dramatic, and I think it maybe is. Let me explain. This chair is really squeaky. I'm gonna trade it out for the other one. It's a kitchen chair, not a desk chair. Alright. Ooh, it's also a bit lower. You're fine. This is better framing, probably. Anyway, welcome! So where do I begin? Life has been weird for a long time. How do I explain? I made notes saying Luke suggested that I should mention this because people might want to say goodbye, and then just a note about my PayPal being in the description, but we're not there yet. So I should have taken better notes. Things I also said in high school. But in high school, I was dissociating through a lot of my classes, and I didn't know it. If you haven't seen my Half the Bridesmaids Bailed video, people came to my house, were disgusted by my house, because my house was disgusting. Subscribe. Yeah, my house has been a sty for a very long time, and this week I've been going through everything because I have to, because I'm moving in 2 weeks from yesterday on the day that I'm recording this. Even sooner than that on the day that you're watching this, and probably in the past if you're watching it more than 2 weeks from now. I spent an afternoon going through the dreaded basement that we've been avoiding forever, and put all the boxes that I've had with me since I moved out of my childhood home that I haven't touched in years. I had to confront that. Thankfully I did that part over the summer before people came to my house and were like, this is gross. That's part of the reason why the basement was so messy, because everything was so spread out everywhere, because I was going through everything while I was going through it, you know? I got a lot of the hard part done over the summer, so thankfully that made it really quick and easy to just spend a bunch of hours downstairs just going through everything, sorting out the trash from the not trash, the coming with me and the not coming with me, and the what's gonna stay here until I reach my final destination type of thing. I'm not gonna die, hopefully. Oh god, I shouldn't have said that. Over the holidays, if you are new here, you may not know that I went from Calgary, where I live now, back to Winnipeg, where I lived until I was 15 years old. I'm gonna be 30 this year, so I've lived half my life in Manitoba and half my life in Alberta, which is crazy. It's not that crazy, but it's an interesting thought, I guess. I went to Manitoba for my sister's wedding, and then something happened up here, and I was like, I could have the things I want too. Crazy, right? Being the maid of honor at my little sister's wedding changed me in a way that I can't really explain. As a person with complex trauma and a dark sense of humor, I'm always kind of like a little bit bitter and cynical, so that's not it. It's not like my younger sibling got something I wanted before I did. I love them. I'm not like upset about this. I was the maid of honor due to wild circumstances. I was not originally the maid of honor. Go watch that video I mentioned a little while back there and you'll know what I mean. Some magic happened on the dance floor that night, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Are you so happy, Marco? So, I don't know, after my sister's wedding, I guess I just kind of realized, like, this is life. This is adult life, and I have permission to live it. If you're unfamiliar with complex trauma, it gives you, like, the emotional maturity of, like, a chickpea. It's very emotionally dysregulating, and you're constantly in fight or flight mode. It's from living years and years at a time in crisis/chaos survival mode, it'll mess a person up. And that's okay. That's just a fact of life for some of us. It's possible to move past it and it's possible to work through it, but it is work and it's very difficult. I think some of the very difficult work that I've been doing in therapy has kind of paid off because I've always wanted like to feel better, to get better, go through therapy, do the work, come out on the other side. But that is scary also. A person living with complex trauma and going through the very difficult process of processing it, it's hard to visualize the future and it's hard to imagine what things would be like if you were not this way. If you know, you know. And if you do know, I'm so sorry. Because it's a very helpless situation. It can be scary to heal because all we know is the chaos in here and the disconnect between our body and reality because our bodies fly into surviving the perceived danger because that's what we had to do for so long. I really hope that makes sense because it's been quite a tangent. I feel like my sister's wedding healed something in me, and being in Winnipeg for, I think it was only 4 days, making centerpieces and bonding with my like new family and making new friends and doing me without the pressure of everyday life. I'm the kind of person who, when I'm stressed out, I have to dive into something and hyper-focus on it and obsess over it, and a lot of the time that's knitting. That's why I'm in the process of making a like queen-size knitted blanket for myself because I have nervous hands. Anyway, that weekend it was very easy to just forget about everything because I was constantly doing something, making, I think, 15 or 16 centerpieces, which are gonna become available for sale on my website this year. Not the ones from my sister's wedding, but if you want me to make one for your wedding, just message me and we will figure it out because I'm trying to pay some bills. It's hard to process your trauma. It's scary because you have to confront it. Being in Winnipeg, kind of in the neighborhood that I grew up in, up until that point, it had always been a bit triggering, a bit off-putting. I decided that I wanted to go to Winnipeg over Christmas because most of my family lives out there, the family that like I know from childhood. I do have family in Alberta a little bit, in BC a little bit, but I just wanted to like go back. I'll be home for Christmas and all of that stuff. So I went and blessed my sister and brother-in-law. I stayed with them for 3 weeks. It was like life-changing to just take care of me and think about what I want out of life, imagine my ideal situation. I could see it. I could actually see it. For the first time in my life, I can see a future for myself. I'm 29. I'm going to be 30 years old in September, and I can finally understand that I have a future. That's just how childhood trauma messes you up. You don't have to have a disorder, by the way, to have childhood trauma, experience something traumatic, and carry that with you for the rest of your life without it being completely debilitating. Whatever happened to you was scary and horrible enough to be acknowledged and validated, I promise. You do not have to have a formal diagnosis to tell you that. And that took me a long time. I have been chasing a formal diagnosis since I found out that there was a diagnosis for what I was experiencing. Last week, I believe, I went to the cannabis doctor because I live in Canada. C-A-N-N-A, duh. And I got my green card, my weed card, my medical cannabis prescription. Once I can afford to, I'm going to be ordering some CBD oil to take daily and a little bit of THC oil to take before bedtime to just help me sleep without having to like on my bong and then have a bunch of really good ideas for a couple hours and not be able to go to sleep. Hang on, somebody just sent me a picture of a dog. It's on Instagram. Anyway, that was very important, and I think talking to the weed doctor like healed something in me as well, because a medical professional who had her own private practice for like 30 years or something told me, hey, yeah, that happened. This is very real and serious. You experience these things, and I'm sorry that you experience these things. Trauma is awful. Okay, here's how I think that this can help you. Was the most validating experience I think I've ever had in my life, other than every time I go to therapy, because you just get yourself a good therapist and be incredibly honest with them. It works. For me. It may not work for you right away, it may never work for you, but I definitely recommend that you try. A lot of the time, the anxiety that I'm feeling and the times that I get triggered are from things that I haven't processed because I've been bottling them up and sitting on them, or they've been repressed, because repressed memories are a real thing and it is crazy when they come back. I'll make a video on that because people who experience repressed memories coming like unrepressing themselves, just like pinking into this place, I'm coming out, so you better get this party started. That is not fun. So I have had a lot of that happening over the past few years, and it's yikes. I just feel like over the holidays, I accepted the fact that my dogs will walk in and out of the room several times as I try to make a video. That's something I have to accept. Hey bud, you want me to scratch you? Okay. Hang on, I'm petting a dog. I'd be done sooner if you didn't keep on derailing my train of thought. Oh, I think they have to go pee outside. Hang on. What was I talking about? It may not come back to me. I'm so sorry. I do remember where I was going with that. And after smoking a little bit more weed. Something that I was finally able to accept while I was in Winnipeg, just being with my family. I am gonna burp. Oh, I'm drinking cherry Coke. Isn't that so smart? I was finally able to accept that I can't control where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere, if that makes any sense. There's gonna be people jumping out of the woodwork in the comments like, oh my gosh, you're in control of where you're going, your destination, blah, blah, blah. Happiness is the journey, not the destination. What I mean is that I can't control what's going to happen to me in my life. There have been many things that I have participated in that have not really ended very well, and that's on me. But I was raised in a home that was toxic and turbulent. That was beyond my control. That was something that I had to survive, and now I'm trying to like hatch out of my little chicken egg on the other side of it. What I can control is the value that I place on my life moving forward. And what I can control is on good days when I am in the driver's seat of my mind and when my symptoms are not completely overwhelming me, I'm in control of taking care of myself and becoming the person that I want to be and doing the things that I want to do. What? Adult life, like, yeah, bills and stuff, it's really scary. But also, I think I've spent my life up until this point waiting for permission to be a full, complete person, if that makes any sense. If you have childhood complex trauma disorder there, you'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like I have finally absorbed the idea that this is it. This is life. I'm here living it. This is me driving my car. I am an adult human woman going to buy groceries. This is life, and I am alive, and I am allowed to do whatever I want with that information. So I decided that I am ready to continue my healing journey. Also, in the process, live closer to my family. Like, I want to live closer to my grandparents. One of my cousins just had a kid. I would very much enjoy watching that child grow from up close, because from a young age, I was isolated from my family, and that was a thing that happened to me. That was a thing I couldn't really control. And now that I'm a grown-up adult woman who is allowed to live life, crazy, right? Incredible. What I can do is be close to the family that I was, like, chopped off of. And there are other family members in other parts of the country that I have the opportunity to bond with now as well, and I'm so looking forward to that. But for me, the first step is going home. So without giving too much personal information, what's gonna happen is I'm going to live in a place that I will be renting from. I'll be moving in when it's available. And before then, my plan originally was to couch surf with all these great family members I just told you about in Winnipeg. Like, Burden one person for a week. Burden one person for a week. Burden one person for a month. Burden one person for 2 months. I don't know how long I'm going to be surfing on these alleged couches. So what I'm gonna do instead is go live in the woods with some dogs and some like 75-year-old vegetarians that I used to spend my summers with when I was a kid. I'll have the chance to spend at least a month in this place that was my fortress of safety when I was a child. It was my Hogwarts. So I would spend a lot of time out in the wilderness pretending I was Pocahontas. I know I am a white bitch. Not Pocahontas, obviously, but I loved that movie when I was a kid, and so I would run through the forest pretending to be Pocahontas because I acted stuff out a lot when I was a child. My mother used to threaten me by saying that people used to think I was on the spectrum when I was a kid. God rest her soul. She had good intentions sometimes. Anyway, I would run around reenacting scenes from Pocahontas. It was awesome. There was like a little stream that was realistically like a trickle of water going down the property towards the lake, but I was like, wow, just around the river bend, baby. I would like swing through the trees and catch frogs and snakes, and we would go for a walk every morning with all the dogs. I need physical activity, and I think it's like a 2-mile-ish walk. I don't know kilometers wise what that is. I only say 2 miles because that's what I heard as a kid. I have no idea if that's true. It's a decent walk. Like, I've done that walk as an adult once, I think, and it's a decent walk. I'm gonna go do that for a little while, make YouTube videos while I'm out there, make merch and sell it while I'm out there, work really, really hard at saving up money and chipping away at all my debt so that I can afford to rent the suite from... But Kalayla, how do you make money? I'm glad you asked. If this video has an ad on it, something you can do is go back and watch it again, and click on the ad or let it play through. That is one way you can help for free. Another way you can help for free is just clicking on any of my videos that might show up in a sidebar or anywhere. Just click on it and let it play for a little while. Let the algorithm know, oh, you really like her. Okay, maybe we'll show her content to more people. Another thing that you can do to help that is not as free is become a patron over on Patreon. You can give me $1 or more every month, and it really helps. It is life-changing. It is how I pay my car insurance every month. You are making a huge impact on my life by being a patron. Thank you so much. If you want to do that, you can. If you want to help pay for gas on my drive over to Manitoba, you can donate to my PayPal. That's the second note that I made. You can send me like $5 for a coffee and a donut, or you can send me like $5 to put into my gas tank. You can send me absolutely nothing. You can send me $400. You can do whatever you want to do, because just being here is enough. So you've already done your part. But if you want to go above and beyond, baby, those are some ways that you can help. My battery is running out. That's why I dove into the here's how you can help me. I have no idea how much time we have left. But this video is already really, really, really long. So I'm probably gonna... Oh, fuck, battery exhausted. If you can still hear me, I'm probably...